Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Gimpy, and I'm here with a new series that I'm gonna start doing every now and then for Xwing. I'm gonna call it the Flight Deck, where I just take and go over certain squad lists, just ideas I've come up with, or ideas I've seen other people post, or some friends of mine might come up with, and show you guys just some different squad lists you guys can try out with Xwing, and especially in this new 2.0 system. I did want to add before we got started, there were a couple of little things that I'd been thinking about since I did that 2.0 problems video, and I wanted to toss up to you guys, see if you had any other comments about it or had heard anything else as far as what's to be expected as far as epic play is concerned, because I wasn't even thinking about that as much, but in the process of packing, you know, I've had to pack up my larger ships, and I've got a few epic ships lying around that they're not in the conversion kit. So what's the deal with those? Are they going to do a conversion? I'm assuming they have to, because it's all still the old 1.0 stuff, and it doesn't seem like it would be compatible with, you know, 2.0. So is that going to be a separate purchase as well? Is it going to be a separate purchase for each one of the epic ships, or are they going to do a conversion pack for epic play covering an entire faction? Or, you know, how are they going to handle it? I would like to see how that's going to work. There's still some hidden and missing. I got to say, my overall opinion about 2.0 so far has been rather positive. I mean, I think like I said before, the game needed it, but that just could have been handled better. One of the neat things here, actually, this is one of the new 2.0 Y-Wings, and you guys can see there is a little bit of a difference in paint scheme. It's got a turret there on the top of it compared to the previous one. This is one of the previous ones. So you guys can see just a little paint difference, nothing major. Oh, and one other little addendum I can point out. Which one is it? Okay, it's this one. Just in case, if you've played this game any amount of time, you've broken a peg or you've broken a ship, you can do it like I've got this one, where it's got a little magnet on the bottom of it, and a little magnet with ball bearings fixes the ship right up. So definitely something you guys can look into. All right, but let's take and jump in here to the flight deck and get an idea of a new ship list, squadron list we can go with. This is one that I am going to call Why Not, or the Circle Strafe. I haven't figured out which one I'm going to go with yet. And it is 5 basic Y-Wings. I think this is a good list for beginners or someone who's new to 2.0 and wanting to just kind of try it out a little bit, get their feet wet. I'm actually probably going to try this list against a buddy of mine tomorrow. It's got a lot of health, it's got a lot of shields, and it's really easy to fly. You're just going to take, each one of these ships is going to be a 40-point total, all right? Since it's now 200 points versus 100 points, which again is an improvement, because that gives them more flexibility as far as point costs are concerned. Previously, if you think about it, since it's doubled, the lowest they could have before was a 1-point cost or a 0-point cost. Well, I guess technically a negative point cost, because I did have some of those. But now they can have a 1-point card, which would have been a half-point card previously. So it gives them a lot more flexibility in how much everything's going to cost. I really do like that improvement with it. But you're going to take 4 of these guys here: the Gray Squadron Bomber, your basic Y-Wing Initiative 2. It's got focus, target lock, and a red barrel roll, which is interesting. Y-Wings previously could not barrel roll, but now you can, but it's going to be red. So you're going to stress out from doing it. That's fine. I'm good with that. They're not that maneuverable. And it's got a red reload action. So that's going to be interesting to try out. Put some bombs or missiles or whatever you want to throw on there and see how those device charges work. So you're going to have 5 of those, and then you're going to have a ion cannon turret on each one of those. And the way ion cannons have been changed is they now, all right, so you guys can see you're going to still roll your 3 dice just like you would before, and you'll still deal 1 damage, but now it's you deal 1 damage, and then for each uncanceled hit after that, they're getting ion tokens. So you can effectively give more than one ion token to somebody, in this one. However, there is the chance that you'll hit and not give any ion tokens if only one hit is uncanceled during your, result step. So that's an interesting change that they've had with this. Obviously, the ion cannon, it is a mobile firing arc, 3 dice, and it range 1 to 2. So we're going to have to try this out, see how well it works. And one last little upgrade. If I remember right, it's like 32 points for the bomber, 6 points for the cannon turret, and then 2 points for this R4 astromech. And this simply makes your dial everything speed 1 to 2 basic maneuvers blue. All right. It decreases the difficulty, but effectively makes it blue. So if we're looking at the Y-Wings dial on its speeds 1 to 2, it's got all blue or white maneuvers anyway, so it wasn't that stressful for it previously. But the big thing, it's nice to have those hard 2 turns being blue now. Again, blue is the new green. So it's for the people who had issues with color blindness previously. Not a big deal. Easy change. It's nice for the customers who had issues with it previously. But if you have something that's causing stress or something like that, you have many, many, many more maneuvers now that you can do. So your range is opened up in maneuverability. And since these ships are not maneuverable, you're going to want to have as much maneuverability as possible. And especially having that too hard, the 90-degree turn, turn as a blue maneuver really is going to help you out as far as this is concerned, because what I'm talking about is the circle strafe. You're going to just take and have these guys going in a line, and you're going to flank that board. Now, you are at a range disadvantage. Your ion cannon is only good at range 1 to 2. But again, you do have that barrel roll benefit, so you're going to be able to take and get yourself closer to that enemy fighter. If you're going to need to do that, you'd have to sacrifice your action. Not a horrible deal. You definitely want to have your action if possible, because you only have 1 of 8 die. So you want to be able to negate as much damage as coming through, because one of the faults of this list is going to be getting focused down. They're all going to be at a initiative of 2 when it comes to taking enemy fire. So for the most part, you're going to be firing after your opponent. All right, that's more than likely going to happen unless they're flying something, like a TIE swarm with a bunch of rank 1 academy pilots. But then you might have to worry about Halv Runner and the TIE swarm and bumping those guys up. So there is possibilities there. But more than likely, you are going to get focused down. Any decent X-Wing player facing a list like this is going to start trying to focus down one Y-Wing after another and not spread their fire, especially since in 2.0, they've tried to reduce the amount of damage output. A lot of things like harpoon missiles aren't back in this. Big, hard-hitting attacks seem to have been tried to be reduced for 2.0. It seems like they want to bring it back down to where you're not able to pump out 4, 5, 6 damage through use of upgrades and cards and stuff like that, and just one-shot somebody off the board, where it got into and it have a little more dogfighty issues going on. That's going to play to the advantage of a ship like list like this that has 40 total hull and shields, and especially if you're able to soak it in between some of these guys. Now, there is the disadvantage in that Y-Wings used to be 5 hull, 3 shields, and now they're 6 hull and 2 shields. You always want to have shields over hull, considering crits don't affect shields. Take a crit, you just knock shield off. Take a crit with your hull, you're flipping that damage card and you're taking some crits, and that can slow you down big time. But again, you've got the R4 astromech that can help and kind of speed you guys along. But part of this is also going to be your control. You want to focus your enemy as well with that ion cannon turret. Now, with your smaller opponents here, it's not as big of a deal with a small base, because as soon as you get that 1 ion token on them, bam, they're going straight. You know exactly where they're going to be, and then you can continue your move along, continue just moving these guys up. and just move them in a train right behind each other. Keep it up, keep your firing arc all pointing in the same direction, and just keep circling around your enemy at range 2 if you can. Although, if I do understand it correctly now, turrets will gain the range bonus. So if you could get in range 1 of your opponent, you're getting that extra die when you're attacking them, but they're getting that extra die on you too. The thing to think about though is if you're able to focus this and keep them ioned turn after turn after turn, if you don't lose too many of your guns, then they're eventually just going to drift right the hell off that board because they're not going to be able to turn around. You can take and control them. That's really what you want to go with. This list is going to excel against lists that have bigger bases. Now, I know you're thinking, well, it's a bigger base. It's going to take more ion tokens. Small base, 1 ion token to be affected. Medium base, 2. Large base is going to take 3 for them to be ionized. But when you have those larger base ships, you're tending to have less opponents on the board. And especially if you're fighting a 2-ship list, you can keep them both ionized. And if you don't have to worry about a mobile firing arc with them and can get around them so they are not able to actually shoot back at you, you control the match. All right. Now, if you're playing against some hardcore aces and people who know what they're doing, they're going to take and probably tear you up a little bit. But for a basic list, just to start the game out, something that has some staying power, a lot of health, so you can stay on the board for a while, especially irritate your opponents with that ion cannon. 5 Y-Wings is really going to do it for you. You've got the health, you've got the staying power, you've got the ability to work your arc, and as you get better and learn a little more into the game, you can drop a Y-Wing or 2 and try to incorporate another ship into it. I've actually got another idea that actually drops a couple of the Y-Wings, keeps the other 3, and then I'm investing 80 points in a bomb-heavy, missile-heavy, barrage rocket Miranda to try her out as kind of like a killer. So as the Y-Wings, control them, keep them away from Miranda, she's running up and dropping bombs on them and doing the advanced lane. But we'll do a different video on that one. The bane of this list is probably going to be, like I said, anything with swarms, anything that has a list that has a lot of green dice to it. If pretty much all of your opponent's ships have 3 green dice, you're going to have some issues on getting your ion cannons through. You might be getting 1 damage through, but you're not necessarily going to be able to get that token on them unless you're focusing them. And especially if they've got a bunch of TIE fighters, you might not be able to get the kind of ion tokens through that you need to control the match itself and keep the enemy not facing you while you're trying to pick off their ships. But overall, I think it's a good basic list that gives you control, gives you damage. If you think about it, with 5 of these guys using their turrets, if all of them do 1 damage, you got 5 damage a turn. All right, that's more than enough to destroy some of the smaller ships that are in the game and potentially ionize some of the others that are on the map. So it gives you a lot of control, gives you decent damage. Definitely one worth checking out. I'm going to do another list for you guys that is similar in the control aspect, but instead of the Y-Wings, it actually uses 2 IG-88s and a single Y-Wing. So I'll show that to you guys on the next one. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.